Hey guys, Shannon Smith here at Palm Beach Shooting Center again with Fast Academy. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the reload. We've talked about grip, so hopefully you watched that tutorial or that video first because coming off the reload and getting back to your grip from the reload, you got to know how to grip the gun properly so you know where you're coming from and going to kind of deal. We've got a Glock 17 here we're going to be using. This is one of my competition guns as well as my training gun and occasional carry gun. It is empty. No magazine in the mag well, nothing in the chamber. And then I have two empty magazines we'll be using for training. Both of them are empty. They have got like 2 dummy rounds in each of them for slide locks and guarding your feed lips and that kind of stuff. You don't really need dummy rounds to do this kind of training. If you're going to work the slingshot technique, you'll need one. And then I use them really to save my feed lips more than anything else because it kind of helps to guide the mag in. If you happen to miss a reload, you don't jam your feed lips into the bottom of the gun and that kind of deal. So first key to the reload is we have to get the mag out of the gun. There's 2 types of reloads we're going to be dealing with. The first 2/3 of the process for either one is exactly the same. The only difference at the very end. We'll be working with what's commonly called the speed reload and the emergency reload or slide lock reload. So the first thing we'll cover is the speed reload. This would happen in a competition scenario often, or any time where you've shot a fair amount of rounds and you think you're about out and you want to do a reload before you've run to slide lock. Maybe there's a slight lull in the action, that kind of deal, you've decided to reload. In this instance, there's going to be a live round in the firearm or in the chamber, and you're just going to exchange out magazines. So we're going to be coming from our grip, generally our freestyle position. So we have our 2-handed grip presented out to the target. So the first step we got to do is get the mag out of the gun. Well, using the type of grip that I like, there's basically no gun on the planet that I can reach the mag release on without shifting the gun in my hand or rotating the gun a little bit in my hand. So to do that, I simply flip the gun in my hand. I call it the flip, amazingly enough. So from this position, I'm just going to flip the gun. All right, so from here, I've now got the firearm by the magazine release, the tips of my fingers, and the base palm of my hand. There's a gap underneath here, so by no means do I have a proper grip on the gun, but I've got a good enough purchase on it that it's not going to come falling out of my hands. After that magazine's out of the gun, the most important thing we need to do is reacquire that strong hand grip. All right, it's kind of a 3-step process because you can't go right back to that grip or the gun will fall out of your hand. So from this position, I have to hold the firearm with my thumb as I fix my fingers to their proper position, and then we need to get thumb back up to its proper position. Now I'm back in that perfect strong hand grip that we talked about in the other episode. So while all this is happening, my support hand or my weak hand is going for my spare magazine. Spare magazine bullets are going to be carried bullet forward position. Hopefully everybody's aware of that. And when I go down to reach for the magazine, I want to hit it basically in the heel step of my palm. So I reach down for the mag's going to hit right in the heel step of my palm. So you want to hit it pretty deep. As such, when the magazine comes out, carrying that bullet forward technique, we want our front finger or our index finger running up the front spine of the magazine. And regardless of what type of magazine you're carrying, you want the base in the heel step of your palm and your index finger running up the front spine. So in this particular situation with a Glock 17 magazine, my hands are the size that I can get them all the way up and actually touch the first point of that bullet. If you have a longer magazine, for example, your finger might not go up that high, but you still want to run your finger up the front spine. And the reason for this is this gives you better control of the magazine and it's more intuitive. You've been pointing your finger at things your whole life, so doing that to your magazine is going to help you point it into position and get it where it needs to go. So after this strong hand has reacquired its strong hand grip, we're going to bring it slightly in, and I like to turn it slightly up and away at a 45-degree angle, keeping it high up in front of your face so you can see what you're doing. My spotting point here is I'm looking for the inside of the far side of the mag well, and that's what I'm looking at. So now I'm going to shift my focus from my target down to my mag well. Empty gun is not going to do any good, so I want to get this thing reloaded as quickly as possible. The quickest way to reload this is to watch my mag into position and watch what I'm doing. So as this mag comes up, I'm simply going to meet these angles. So they meet here in space, pretty much right in front of my face. As those angles meet, I'm going to watch this mag well until the mag is well started. If you're a couple inches away and you take your attention off, trust me, you're going to miss a bunch of them. So keep your eyes focused here till that magazine is well started. Once you're sure it's in there, now you can shift your focus back up to your target as you finish firmly seating the magazine. And one firm seat is all it should take. You don't have to spank the magazine into position, just a waste of time. So one good firm seat. At that time, you can see the position of my hands. It's almost like coming off the draw. To reacquire that grip, as I present back out the target, you roll the gun around, roll your support hand back into position, and bam, right back where we want to be. You can check our grip. Grip looks good, back on target. So now we'll kind of do a little half-speed demonstration. So again, the setup for this, we have a magazine in the gun. In our training scenario, we have a live gun, or would be a live round in the chamber, and then a magazine in our #1 pouch as our go-to mag. So we come from our grip. At whatever point we've decided to reload, finger off the trigger as I do the flip. That mag's going to fall to the ground as I reacquire my magazine. Reacquire that strong hand grip. As I come out, I'm going to meet these angles, watching the mag well until I know the mag's into position. Shift my focus back on target as I finish firmly seating the mag. And then I'm going to roll the grip back into position as I present back out to target, finger back on the trigger to engage as need be. And we'll try that again at a little faster speed. All right, so try again at a little faster speed. Again, magazine in the gun, magazine on our belt. We're coming from present out the target. At whatever point you decide to reload, all right, so our other type of reload is going to be our slide lock, or sometimes called the emergency reload. In this scenario, we have empty magazine and an empty firearm. In most cases, your slide's going to be locked to the rear. So if you're in the middle of engaging targets, all of a sudden the gun doesn't go bang anymore, and you look down, the gun's in this configuration, well, you know you have an emergency. Once you get more adept at shooting and more comfortable shooting, you actually feel it exactly when it happens. You'll feel that gun go to slide lock, and you instantly know what's going on. But in the meantime, if you see it in this position, you know you've got to go to your emergency reload. Everything's exactly the same, all the initial portions. You're going to flip that gun, hold it with a mag release as the mag comes out. As it hits the ground, go for your second mag, heel step of the palm, all that's exactly the same. That comes up and seats in. The only difference is once your second mag is seated, well, now we have our slide is still locked to the rear, so we have to fix that. There's two techniques to do so. The slide release button can be used, or you can use what's called a slingshot method, and we'll cover them both. The slide release button, you simply hit the slide release. That'll allow the slide to go forward, loading that first mag or first round from the magazine into the chamber. I like to do this with my left thumb or my support hand thumb. So again, everything's the same. After we have that seated, now I'm just going to come over with the support hand thumb. I'm already shifted my focus back up to the target. Push down on that slide release, loading that round into the chamber, and now I'm going to present out as I reacquire my two-handed grip into position. All right, so other technique, again, all this portion is the same. Once we have the gun or the magazine seated in the firearm, once I know it's in, I'm going to shift my focus back to the target just like before. I'm going to finish firmly seating the magazine. Now, the other technique is called the slingshot method. The slingshot, you need to pull back on the slide slightly to allow the slide stop to disengage and then let go. You don't want to ride the slide forward, just let go of the slide. It'll grab that first round off the magazine, load the chamber, and then you can reacquire your strong hand grip. So again, watch it in. Once it's seated, shift my focus back to the target, finish seating the magazine. I'm going to come over the top, slingshot the slide forward, come back underneath, reacquire that grip as I present out to the target. Pros and cons depend on who you talk to. Personally, I prefer the slide release technique. I think it's faster, and I think it's been proven faster. The argument to that is it's a more fine motor skill, and in a stressful situation, you want the more gross motor skill of coming over the top, the slingshot method. Another argument could be if you're wearing gloves for your temperament or your climate or whatever your operation might be, it might be a little more difficult to hit your slide release. Those are both valid points. My counterpoint would be if you train to use a slide release, then that's what you'll use. But in any event, it's still good to know both techniques. There's other instances where you might not be able to use it. If you do an opposite hand or need to rack it off a piece of equipment or a piece of barricade or vehicle or something. So I can see both points to it. So it's useful to learn them both and train them both. We'll do a couple here for you, half speed, to kind of show you what they look like. So the first technique I'll do is the first technique we showed, which is using the slide release button. So again, we'll start from out on target. I realize the reload needs to take place. All this technique is the same until you get to the slide release portion, and then you present back out to the target. Our other emergency reload or slide lock technique is the slingshot method, which we covered, and we'll do a couple of those. Again, same setup. empty magazine in the gun, gun lock back, dummy rounds in my number 1 pouch. We'll do the first one kind of half speed. So I realize the emergency reload needs to be made. Again, the slingshot technique. I realize the reload needs to be made. All right, this has been Shannon Smith here again at Palm Beach Shooting Center with Fast Academy, talking about the reload. We've covered the emergency reload or slide lock reload, as well as a speed reload. Thanks for watching here on YouTube. If there's any other techniques you'd like to see covered, be sure and let us know. Also, check us out on our website, palmbeachshootingcenter.com, and as well as on Facebook. See ya.